Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Some people do not appreciate the kindness of others and try to profit from it. Our OP met such an entitled mother at the mall. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. EM asks me to pay for her groceries. So there's this rundown grocery store that has a hole-in-the-wall restaurant in it, but holy moly, the food is knee-slapping good. Anyways, I'm sitting down eating my food and a woman, EM, with 3 small kids, all under the age of 5, maybe, stops and asks if I could help pay for her groceries. She proceeds to give me her sob story of how she's a single mom, no money, needs to feed her kids, etc. I don't care about her, but with anything involving children or animals, I will oblige and help whenever I can. I wouldn't say I'm super rich, but I make pretty good money and could spare $100. I say, sure, I can spare $100. I'll finish my meal, and when you're done shopping, just grab me so I can pay for it at the register for you. She thanked me generously, and her kids looked timid for whatever reason. The EM comes back in about 30 minutes, and she has a crap ton of stuff like T-bone steaks, shrimp, lobster. I'm like, I guess there's a sale? The cash register lady rang up the items, and the total was $346. I'm like, lady, I told you $100. If you need to feed your family, you can grab essential food items for $100. She then proceeds to embarrass me and say, you entitled Asian privileged B, stealing American jobs because you have good stereotypes? You can't help us? I then said, okay, fine, F this, see you, lady. But she then apologized profusely and started to remove expensive items and kept the essentials: pasta, rice, chicken, veggies, juice, snacks. I still paid for it. I just wanted to make sure the kids are fed. Was I scammed? Probably. And our second story. You must be a special kind of stupid. A little backstory. I used to be a server at an Italian restaurant in my town that thrived on regulars to keep us afloat. A lot of the regulars had specific servers that they liked and would ask for, and we built relationships with these people, mostly because they tipped us better. I'm at a local tapas bar across town and on a date on a Wednesday night, and it was not busy. We stroll in and the hostess takes us to our table. I then excuse myself to go to the washroom to wash my hands and make sure that I didn't look like an idiot with my hair messed up or something. Routine for me before I sit down and they have a look at me for an hour or so. On the way out of the washroom, a couple of my regulars are sitting at a table and see me and flag me over to ask me how I was doing. I tell them why I'm here and we chatted for a minute. They made a couple of jokes about me being on a date, etc. All of that was in good fun. I tell them to enjoy their food and I start to return to the pretty lady. This is when I'm stopped by a round top of what I can only assume would be lookalikes of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. There was 5 of them in total, and it looks like they'd just been seated as they were not at the table when I went to wash my hands. For all of you wondering, there was one with the "can I speak to the manager" haircut. We'll call her B for the sake of this story. While 2 of the others look like your generic Southern Suburban Housewives, HW1 and HW2, and the other 2 look like they belonged in some trashy club downtown, Hoodrat 1 and Hoodrat 2. How this motley crew was formed, I'll never know. Now, I dress well. I was wearing a nice collared gray shirt with a black sweater and slacks. I guess it could have been easy to mistake me for a server or a busser or something, as the other waitstaff has button-down shirts. HW1. Excuse me, can you take our drink order now, please? Before I could tell her that I'm not a server, B chimes in. B, we've been waiting for 5 minutes, and the Book of Service Excellence says that your server should greet you 30 seconds after you're seated. This is funny because I know this to be true. We follow the same rules at our restaurant. Me, I'm sorry, ladies, I'm not your server who... I'm interrupted by B. B, well, since our server isn't here or thinks we aren't worth his time, you can take our drinks. I'll have a Red Bull vodka and a water, along with insert appetizer I forget name of, for the table. Me, miss, I don't think you understand. I don't work here. I'm only this patient because my server instincts kick in from the familiar environment. Hood Rat 1. Why are you lying? I saw you taking that other table over. Now, why won't you help us? Is our money not good here? Hood Rat 2. What, you too good for me and my friends? Do you want us to leave so you can go serve those old people over there? At this point in time, girl I was with and my regulars saw what was holding me up and were watching all of this transpire. Me. Guys, I seriously don't work here. I'm on a date with that girl. I point at the table behind them, to which the girl, let's call her Sally, gets red from 5 heads snapping in her direction. Housewife 2 hasn't said anything. I think she's understanding. B. I want to see the manager. Maybe he can show you how to provide good service. Me. You're not getting it. I don't work here. I'm not your server. I'm a server at a different restaurant, and that old couple were my regulars that I saw here by coincidence and was chatting them up. If you don't mind now, I'm going to return to my friend and finish my evening that you and this set of real housewives of B-World have interrupted. I know it could have been better, but it was the best I could do in the heat of the moment. I begin to move past them towards our corner table, and that's when B grabs my sleeve of my sweater and demands very loudly, I want to see a manager. It was at that moment I saw what I assumed was employee start to approach the table, but after her outburst, which brought the restaurant to a screeching halt, it was a fairly spacious place too, turn around and go into the back. Out came a tall man wearing a tie, and he approached them along with Jim, one of my regulars. B tells him that I'm an awful server and that she's shocked that he would allow anyone as disrespectful and unintelligent as me to work here. Jim. He doesn't work here, you effing idiot. They all have a look of shock on their face, like this 60-year-old man just shot their poor husbands, or cats. Manager. This kid, I'm a short 20-year-old with no facial hair, is not a server here. Please let go of him. I yank my sleeve away from her after an intense but short stare-off with her. Jim. You must be some special kind of stupid. I return to my table, and Sally just starts giggling, and the restaurant has pieced together what happened and began talking about this and snickering, while real housewives just sit there mortified that they've made themselves look like a bunch of a-holes. So B does what any entitled housewife would do at this moment. Deny. B. It was clearly a mistake for assuming the restaurant could hire decent help. She got up and clicked her way out, followed by the rest of the motley crew. I'm really happy their actual server didn't have to deal with them. Excellent. You were more patient than I might have been. That's awesome your regular stood up for you. Free app next time you get his table. And our last story. My entitled mother forged my name to buy a car to evade the IRS. A little bit of back information. My mother is horrible with money. She pulled $90,000 out of her 401k early. She didn't put anything aside for taxes, so she ended up having $30,000 in back taxes. During this time, I also had to bail her out of unpaid rent with the promise that she would pay me back. She never did. That was to the tune of $3,000. Twice. I also bought her a house to live in after the apartments that she lived in got foreclosed on. Now on to my story. Mom calls me up, and the initial conversation went like this. EM. Hey, OP, I've got some good news. Me. Oh yeah, what's that? EM. I bought you a car. Me. Okay, that's really cool of you. Thank you. EM. Well, I didn't buy you a car, I bought me a car. It's just in your name. You know, the IRS is going to garnish my wages, and they might take everything I own. So I need another car in case they take mine. It can't be in my name, so I signed your name on all of the papers. Me. Okay. Fast forward a few years. She's run this car into the ground. It no longer runs as the starter went out, the battery was shot, the AC didn't work, the registration was expired, and someone slashed a tire while it was parked on the road. It needed a lot of work. Now, she had only spent about $3,000 buying the car, so it wasn't a super expensive car to begin with. Plus, after the elapsed years, it was only worth about $1,000. EM called me up the day after my birthday to tell me that the car was going to be towed. The city had put a 72-hour notice on the window, and she waited 48 hours to tell me. She said that she waited because she didn't want to ruin my birthday, so my girlfriend, now wife, and I rounded up a car hauler and had the car towed to our place. We went to work almost immediately. We changed the starter, got 2 new tires, recharged the AC, replaced the battery cables, changed the oil, and caught the registration up. All to the tune of about $750. It was like a brand new car. We were pretty broke at the time, and my girlfriend needed a new car, so I figured this one would suffice until we got back on our feet. My mother never lost her other car, so she still had transportation. About a week after we got it roadworthy again, my mother called me up. Convo goes as follows. EM, did you get the car fixed? Me. Yup. EM, when do I get it back? Me. We could really use another car, and we just spent $750 getting it going again. EM, well, now I want it back. Me. You have another car that you can drive. If you want to pay us back for the work that we did, we'll give you the car back. Otherwise, we're going to keep the car. Besides, you still owe me at least $6,000, so the way I see it, we can borrow the car. EM, you can't do that. I bought that car, and it's mine. Me, prove it. EM, I'm going to sue you. I'll call the cops and tell them that you stole the car. Me, my name is on the registration. My name is on the title. Go ahead and take me to court. Then you can tell the judge that you forged my name on all the documents because you were evading, by hiding assets, the IRS. Let's see how that works out for you. EM, F you. You're a effing a-hole. She hung up on me. She didn't talk to me for a couple of months. I just enjoyed the silent treatment. Edit. That $90,000 that she pulled out, she has nothing to show for it. She just peed it away on crap. No, I never took my mom to court over the $6,000 that was loaned, later just given because she never paid me back. She has zero money coming because she spent all of her retirement and basically lives on Social Security. I can't get blood from a rock, so I just let it be. I do check my credit often, and she has no access to it anymore. We don't talk much, and I pay her bills with her money. I'm in charge of her money, so she can't get into trouble again. We're pretty much estranged at this point, but she is my mother, and I'm her only child, so there's a sense of obligation that goes with that. If I were to cut her out completely, she'd be homeless. You did the right thing. Sounds like you've been too generous to her for too long with absolutely no gratitude from her in return. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.